Hey, morons. How are you? Want to talk politics? Yeah, me neither. You know, I had weaned myself off of politics for most of the summer and into the fall, but I got sucked back in again, or rather, I allowed myself to get re-addicted to it on Wednesday, January 6th, 2021. I'm sure you've been inundated with it, so this will be a break from that. We reminisce briefly about a couple of comedy albums we listened to as kids and as teens, from Cheech and Chong to Richard Pryor to Bill Cosby. Remember he used to be a comedian? He's not so funny anymore, is he? We only mention a few. Who were the comedians of your youth? Was it Steve Martin, who was really one of the first comedians to actually fill stadiums for a concert? Or maybe Eddie Murphy? Or even Gabe Kaplin? Remember him? He turned his stand-up about growing up in New York into the sitcom Back Kotter that launched the career of John Travolta. Why am I talking about this? The comedy album that did it was called Gabe Kaplan, Holes and Mellow Rolls. Up your hole with a mellow roll. I just remember that. Okay, pointless. Then we get into a discussion about the ego and how the senator maybe needs to find a way to keep his ego in check. And it's his idea. Yeah, very enlightening. It gets especially enlightening when no sooner do we finish talking about ego, he ends up going on and on about all the celebrities he's had his picture taken with.
Boring.
Talk about irony. Then, the senator has an idea for a movie. But first, the senator decides to try his hand at singing. He knew I was recording, and he did it anyway. But I hope you'll find it interesting to listen to this first episode of 2021 at the beginning, under the notion that Trump is on his way out and probably not going to cause any more problems.
Donald Trump is a person that's got some problems.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to The Modern Moron.
It's getting late, have you seen my mates? Ma, tell me when the boys get here. It's 7 o'clock and I wanna rock. I wanna get a belly full of beer. My old man's drunker than a barrel full of monkeys, and my old lady, she don't care. My sister looks cute in her braces and boots, a handful of grease in her hair. Whoa, Saturday night's all right. Boom, boom. That's what I'm talking about, bitch.
That's Queen, right?
That would be Mr. Sir Elton John. Dumbass.
Reg.
What?
Reg. Isn't his name Reggie?
Yeah, Reginald. Good call. Look at you, Mr. Music Man. You're almost catching up to me.
Narcissists live among us.
Because I am well-rounded.
You are well-rounded. That's what everybody says anyway.
You might be friends with a narcissist.
Happy New Year. Right in your ears.
Happy fucking New Year's. Jesus.
Speaking of New Year's, I love how people... They act like, 2020's over, like there's an expiration date on the fucking pandemic.
I know.
We're all done. Pandemic's over. 2021.
Trump is gone. Biden's in. Pandemic's gone. Stock market. Everything's perfect now. Everything's great. Just like that, right? 12 o'clock, boom. Everything's done. Whatever.
You know, one of our mutual friends, Templeton.
Yeah.
I told him you were back, and he said, "Oh, Lewis and Martin are back." You referred to us as Lewis and Martin.
Okay, who's Lewis? Come on.
I figured you would say, "Oh, I'm Martin for sure."
Well, I do like old Dino. I mean, he is a stud. I mean,
yeah, he's a stud. Which of us? It's more like Lewis and Lewis.
Thank you. That's nice.
or Costello and Costello.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or Curly and Curly. Or God, we could go.
There's Costello, and who were the other two dudes?
The other two dudes?
Laurel and Hardy.
Oh, God, yeah. Hardy and Hardy. What about Cheech and Chong? Don't forget about Cheech and Chong. They're famous.
That's true. First comedy album I ever bought was Cheech and Chong.
Class, come to order, please. Class, we are very privileged today to have a very special guest in our room. His name is Mr. Stadenko. And Mr. Stadenko is a narcotics officer. That's better, class. Now, Billy, where are you going?
I gotta go to the can, sister. I'll be right back.
You sit down, Billy.
Hey, no. Hey, I gotta go to the
Sit
can.
down, Billy, and whatever you have in your mouth, swallow it immediately.
Oh, hey, thanks a lot, sister.
Look in his locker, man. Hey, Billy, here, swallow these too, man.
You know what mine was? He's in prison right now. Bill Cosby.
That was your first comedy album, was a Bill Cosby album?
Yeah,
Really?
it was Cosby. Yeah. I loved Cosby. And then I saw him up in Tahoe, South Lake Tahoe
When
area.
South Shore was like, that was a place to go for acts, for live entertainment.
I mean, well, I can't say I really loved Bill Cosby. I loved past tense.
He was on top. He was it. He was the dude.
And you know what was the best part about him that I loved is I could listen to him as a kid and no F-bombs, no, I'm going to, screw your mom and, I'm going to hit my bitch and none of that stuff you hear now. It's like, it was clean, it was good, and it was sort of wholesome. I think it was wholesome, right? And it was funny. The guy was funny without dropping F-bombs. That takes some work.
Dentists tell you not to pick your teeth with any sharp metal object. Then you sit in their chair, and the first thing they grab is an iron hook. Now the dentist pulls out a needle. This is to deaden the pain. Should open up. Now, a regular doctor giving you a shot will go, and that's it. Dentists don't do that. They go. And you're there. Then they want to talk to you. Do you ever do any fishing?
Right.
But off stage.
Oh, well, yeah, that's a whole nother story. Sorry.
Kind of ironic that, although I think of Richard Pryor, he was probably my he was my first stand-up comedy album, and I had to sneak it into my room.
Oh, really?
Oh, my parents would not have gone for Richard Pryor's.
Okay, I have a question.
Not to mention that the title of the album had the N-word in it.
Ooh, yeah, that's not okay. Well, then I have a question because I knew your father. Was it because of the material, or it's because he happened not to be,
Probably both. Probably both. Probably both.
Just checking.
Yeah, I snuck. Oh man, I would listen to Richard Pryor over and over and over. Wino directing traffic on a Sunday morning.
Winos don't get drunk like everybody else, though, right? Wino be directing traffic on Sunday morning. That was my favorite thing about the wino, because I didn't want to go to church, so I'd hang with him. Wino be standing there. Hey, fool, you better slow that car down. Goddamn, don't come driving down through here like you crazy. This is a neighborhood. This ain't no residential district. Jesus on my mind. Yeah, nigga, I know Jesus. Shit, I remember when the boy got killed. That's for real, man. It was on a Friday down at the railroad depot. I tried to warn the nigga. I said, boy, don't you go down there f***ing with them Jews without no money.
Oh my God. Yeah, we don't have an agenda. We just start blabbing at each other.
That was good. I like it. That's perfect. That's the way it should be. I missed you all day. I've been thinking about it all day.
Yeah.
Happy New Year. No, how was Hanukkah first? I want to know how Hanukkah was for you.
I don't celebrate Hanukkah.
What?
Are you talking about? No. Do you celebrate Hanukkah?
Your daughter celebrates Hanukkah. Why don't you celebrate Hanukkah?
Because I've always celebrated Christmas.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Me too.
Are you trying to be provocative right now?
Dude, I can't even say provocative. I can't even say it. What do you mean? Am I trying to be? Yeah, I am actually. Excuse me.
All right. I'm looking for a text you sent me. Do you have like a New Year's resolution of any kind, or?
No, I'm not really big on those. I'm just not, because I'm a very disciplined man.
I'm very highly educated.
I stick to agendas. I know what I want. I don't need like a New Year's resolution to,
Okay, I kind of agree with that. You can make a resolution any time of the year.
No, I'm not being facetious. I'm serious. Sometimes I go on the Kennedy diet, from January 1 through March 17th through.
What's the Kennedy diet?
Well, I don't drink at all from January 1, but
how is that referred to as the Kennedy diet?
Well, I've already blown that up because I have a ding, 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 have a cocktail right now. Well, because the Kennedys, especially old Teddy, who really needed to go on the Kennedy diet, they would, it was sort of kind of during Lent, but it wasn't during Lent. They would go January 1 to St. Patrick's Day. No booze. But I don't know if Teddy ever did that. I'm sure Jack Kennedy did. I'm sure Robert did. But Teddy, I bet he was sneaking booze in the car when he was driving off the bridge, killing women. I don't know.
There's either a movie or a documentary about that. I think it's called Chappaquiddick.
Yeah, I would say yes. I believe it is.
No, you've heard of it? The show.
Yes,
There's either a movie or
actually there was a movie on it. Yeah, was it called Chappaquiddick? I don't know, but I don't need to revisit that. It's terrible.
So we don't have to do this because maybe you were just kidding, but you sent me a text either Christmas Day, maybe it was Christmas Day, because you sent me a picture of some Pringles that I had your daughter slip into your stocking so that you would have some Pringles from me.
Don't tell anybody. Best gift ever for this.
Pringles?
Oh my God. I mowed through them. Are you kidding me? I mowed. They're gone. They were gone the first day. Took them out of the stock.
Yeah.
Gone. Yeah.
Isn't that great? Just take it right out of the stocking and just shove it in your mouth.
They're not as good. It wasn't as good as the gift you got for Templeton, which I'm still a little bit hurt about it. But
yeah, that's what I want to talk about.
Okay.
You said this was your text, and we don't have to include it. Honestly, I was a little disappointed, and I know I can be truthful with you. The present you got Templeton made me extremely jealous, and I know where your loyalty and love now lies. I'm a very possessive man. And my response was, are you f***ing serious? And you said, do you know how sensitive I can be? And I said, I guess not.
I can be.
Then you said, my uncontrollable ego is just hiding all of my shortcomings and fears.
Wow, did I really say all of that?
Were you drunk or something?
Wow, that's very revealing. I didn't. Did I really say all that? I'm serious. You're not making.
I'm reading this text. And then you said, dude, I love the Pringles and I love the gift you got for Templeton. It was the best ever. I love, love, love your present. And I said, let go of your ego and you can let go of your fears as well. Oh, aren't I pathetic?
Okay. The Dalai Lama.
And then you said, New Year's resolution, I'm going to start on it next week.
Okay. All right.
And then you said, your wife says you need to be more humble.
Yes, that is true. That is 100%.
That is true that she said that, or it's true that you agree with it?
I agree with it, and she did say it. Both. Yes.
So you want to work on some humility?
Yeah. Yeah, I should. Serious. Are we going down the rabbit hole here? But I'm just saying, yeah, I agree.
Was there a moment that you thought, man, my ego's way out of whack? Was there a watershed moment, or like what made you think that?
My wife pointed out a couple episodes that she thought were a little over the top. And one of them I explained away, and it did make sense when I explained it, but it's still, she...
Are you going to share that with us?
You
don't have to.
It had to do when I was the leader of a particular group. And when I finished up my leadership, my presidency, I had made a couple comments that I really feel for the next person coming in behind me because they're going to have to fill some pretty big shoes.
Narcissists live among us.
And
you said that publicly?
No, I just said it to my wife.
You might be friends with a narcissist.
And she said that just doesn't sound good. It sounds like you're being very...
Or you might work with one.
It probably would have been, if you would have said it publicly, it would have been taken as a joke.
I would think so. Yeah, I would think.
But you said it privately, and she said, "Excuse me."
Yeah, right. And it had nothing to do with the person coming after me. You know, I always say that I'd rather take over an 0-10 team than a 10-0 team. Well, I was taking over an 0-10 team, and I thought, wow, this is great. I mean, it worked out great because I could only get better, and it was so. Yeah, she said that wasn't that great. So,
but when you put it into that context, did she lower?
Kind of. Yeah. She mellowed out a little bit on her assessment. Yeah, but there's other things. Good God. I mean, come on, you know me. You know me.
That's what I'm saying. But for you to acknowledge it.
I think you might know me better than my wife.
Oh, stop.
Get a room.
But for you to acknowledge it is a pretty huge step.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. Okay. I'm absolutely okay with that. In fact, I appreciate like you and my wife and people who tell me that.
Your two wives?
Yeah, my two wives. Because it's sort of a self-improvement, isn't it? If somebody says that and you're like, I need to hear that, right? I think anybody would. It's not like I get mad about it. It's like, really? I want to hear that because I think it makes you better.
Not being defensive about it is a huge step. Like that's the first step is acknowledging you have an issue. If you don't think you have an issue with your humility and your ego, then there's no way to address it, right?
Right.
Any shortcoming.
Right. And I don't get upset about that. Part of it is because I don't really give a shit what anybody else thinks, but I still embrace it.
Narcissists live among us.
You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, one thing about humility, that my view on humility is that it's great to be humble, but it's not great to be humbled.
Right. And if you're not humble, you will be humbled because God will, or who whatever forces you believe in. Sometimes you will, stub your toe and you will be forced to be humbled, period.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like.
Well, have you had any of those recently?
Not recently, but I've had them. Sure. Oh, I've had plenty of those kind of episodes.
I'm just wondering. So over the holidays, it's been brought to your attention that maybe you need to. What do you think you might do to make you more self-aware of your ego?
Whoa, that's deep. I don't know.
I don't know either. We both have big fragile egos, don't we?
Yeah, and some people would, if there's a psychiatrist in our audience, I'm sure they probably could dissect that I'm compensating for some other things.
Small dick?
No.
Tiny wiener? You don't have a tiny wiener, do you? God knows you've exposed yourself to me enough times.
and you were humbled, weren't you?
Yes, yeah, I was humbled. Like I said, being humbled is not fun. Wow, that thing's so much bigger than mine. Wow, it's a Cadillac, and I'm driving a Toyota Yaris.
No, you're driving the Daewoo. Remember, you had a Daewoo.
Yes, the Daewoo. That's about right. You're driving a Cadillac, and I'm driving a Daewoo.
I still can't believe you bought that damn Daewoo. I told you not to buy it. I told you.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. I was with you when you bought the Daewoo.
I know. You were not with me when I bought it, but you were there for a test drive.
Yeah, I told you to buy the Toyota. You bought the Daewoo. Right?
Yeah. Had to be different.
Oh, it was different, all right. No doubt. Driving around downtown LA in the Daewoo. You were different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just add that one to the list. Throw it on the pile.
That'll humble you.
Brilliant moves.
Do you remember going to a particular award show in Los Angeles, California, and I made you drop me off like 2 blocks away? We were in the Daewoo, and I didn't want to like pull up to the red carpet in the Daewoo. Do you remember that?
No, I don't remember that.
Henry Ford Theater.
Okay, all right. You just can't go an episode without dropping some kind of. We went to the Rolling Stones together. We were at the red carpet. Blah blah blah.
You're the one who invited me to that show. I had a great time.
Because I know you love that. Let's not talk about it.
And you deny me sometimes. You don't even tell me, and then you're like, whatever. I don't know why you do that to me. Why don't you just let me enjoy it? I know it bugs you. I know it really does. It bugs you. But
what bugs me?
That I like to talk about those things, and I like going to those events. And I like.
You know what? Hello, irony. It speaks to what we just got done talking about. Your ego.
Drop the mic.
It's not the ego. It's not my ego.
Oh my God, yes it is. Oh, I got my picture taken with Tom Jones. Oh, look at me. I got my picture taken with fucking Tiny Tim. Who gives a shit?
And don't forget John Wooden, the Wizard of Westwood. Don't forget Joe Montana. Let me think.
No, don't. You'll sprain your ass.
And don't forget about Willie Mays, the greatest baseball player ever. Got my arm right around him. Yes, Mr. Willie Mays.
Okay, next. This could be an episode, by the way. I mean, 20 minutes, perfect.
Yeah, well, we haven't even gotten into the Donner Party and my movie idea. That could be a whole other separate episode.
Are you still all revved up about that?
Yeah, I've been reading. I've been wanting to send you stuff on it, but I don't know how. I can't gauge on how excited you are about it if you just think I'm just blowing smoke out of my ass, which sometimes I do. I don't know if you're. Yeah, I don't know if you're as enthusiastic about it as I am.
Well, I don't know how serious you are really about writing a screenplay. I don't know if you know what's involved in going from a screenplay to actually even thinking about getting it made. What would you think if, you turn a screenplay and somebody says, oh yeah, we're interested in producing that. Guess what the first thing producers want to do?
I have no idea.
Change it. They change it. They change it and change it and change it. So this thing you've poured your heart and soul into, they change the title. You say, I see so-and-so playing the role. I see Brad Pitt playing the role. They say, no, we're going with a person of color because of blah, blah, blah. No, we got to hit the demographics and the blah, blah, blah. Or 101 reasons. Or maybe one of the producers is going out with some chick and he wants to put her in it.
Male chauvinist pig.
All of that, all of it starts coming down the pipe, right? And how much of that are you willing to let go of? That's why a lot of directors and actors, you'll see they become the executive producer because they don't want anybody tainting the story that they want to tell. Does that make any sense?
That makes so much sense. Honestly, that was a great description of
so I'm saying, how serious are you about telling this story you envision telling? Because if you put the time and effort into writing a 120-page screenplay, that's generally the length, and then people start showing interest, and then the changes start coming. Oh, the producer wants this. Oh, the executive, it follow the money. If people give money to help you produce something, they want a say in it most of the time.
Well,
that's why the Coen brothers, for example, you don't see, maybe you do. I'm going to say that you don't see executive producers other than them on their films because they don't want anybody messing around with it.
Okay, but because I'm a humble person, I'm okay with that actually. Because they're the experts. I'm not I just came up with the idea. Mm-hmm. It's just an idea in my head. I'm not all caught up in this. Well, we got to change it. I don't know. I don't know if that would be a big deal to me, to be honest with you. I'd be excited about the idea.
I just watched a documentary last night that is about the entertainment business. It's on Hulu. Do you get Hulu?
I do, yes.
It's called Too Funny to Fail. Have you heard of it?
No, I haven't.
Oh, God, you're going to start typing again. I can see you typing with that goddamn sledgehammer fingers of yours.
Because, oh, God darn it. Oh, God, what is his? Oh.
What are you trying to think of?
Well, I watched the movie last night too, so sorry, I got totally sidetracked. Go ahead, tell me about this.
It's called Too Funny to Fail.
Okay.
It was the story of the Dana Carvey show. Dana Carvey was on Saturday Night Live, and he had the church lady and Hans and Franz, and he had all these characters and all these impressions. He was doing George Bush. He was on top of his game. He left SNL, and they said, "What do you want to do?" He said, "I think I'd still like to do some kind of sketch, but something different." And so ABC picked it up. They put him on After Home Improvement, best slot you could have.
Uh-huh.
And the people they assembled, I'll just give you 4 people. This was before they became stars. Steve Carell, Stephen Colbert, Louis C.K., and I can't think of his name, but he was a writer for SNL. He ended up with Conan Triumph, the comic insult dog. You know that bit?
Oh yeah. That's actually pretty funny. I do remember that.
Very funny. That guy's those four guys were just amongst some of them. There was all kinds of, so they had all these talented people and it tanked. And the executives came in and they tried to salvage it after it was too late. But that's what executives do. They come in and they try to apply a formula to something that has a creative element to it. They turn it into a commodity. So how willing are you going to be to let go of all that?
Don't they know better than me? I don't know. I mean, don't they know?
They're interested in one thing, making money.
Yeah.
You're interested in something somewhat different. You're interested in telling a story. You're interested in what's funny. What is funny? What's funny to one person is not funny. Bill Cosby's funny to one person.
Yes. Yeah.
Fucking Richard Pryor's funny to someone else.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I totally agree.
So how do you think you would be after spending months writing a screenplay?
I honestly don't know the answer to that because I've never done a screenplay. I just have an idea in my head that it would be very, very funny. That's all I have right now.
And talking about it, you're putting it out there. Somebody could steal it.
I know.
Maybe we shouldn't talk about it.
I know.
A lot of people in the entertainment business, they're very, very tight-lipped about the projects they might be working on, are working on. And when they get parts, sometimes they'll send actors, they'll only send them the pages that they're in. They won't send them the whole script. And sometimes they won't give them stuff until they get there. There are all kinds of people trying to protect ideas and all. That's
really,
it's a business.
Okay, well, you've just soured my entire dream about making.
Well, what if you just wrote a book? What if you wrote isn't there a book about Abraham Lincoln being a vampire or something like that?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
What do they call that genre? It's what do they call that? Fiction based on historical fiction. Is that what they call? I think it's called historical fiction. No? Yeah.
Historical fiction. Yes. Yes.
What if you wrote a historical fiction about the subject you want and just write a book? Create a character. I mean, compelling characters are what gets people interested.
What are the Coen brothers more interested in? A book or a screenplay?
The Coen brothers aren't going to write a book.
Wait,
someone's chirping in your ear. I bet it's
yes.
Your daughter.
Please welcome to the panel.
To the panel.
Are you recording a podcast?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know. I thought you were just on the phone.
Thanks.
I'm sorry. I thought you were just on the phone.
Just forget it. The whole episode's ruined.
I can tell when Dad's talking to you because he yells so loudly I can hear him in my room. I can hear every word you're saying.
But the old man is referring to my screenplay that I'd like to write about.
God. From there, the conversation goes a little off the rails, but it worked out perfectly because we're right up to wrap-up time, right? As for the senator's last question, what are the Coen brothers more interested in? As if the Coen brothers would be interested in the senator pitching an idea to them. Can you imagine that? Picture it. There are the legendary filmmakers, the Coen brothers, and the senator begins. Lights up on an outpost in the Old West.
It's not what?
I don't know what the hell the Coen brothers are interested in, but I can guess that it's that they're interested in an interesting story with compelling characters. It doesn't even have to have much dialogue. Those guys write their own scripts anyway. But I know how the senator feels, and maybe you've had a similar experience. You get what you think is a really great idea, and maybe it is. You get all amped up, but then the reality sets in on a series of achievable goals to make that idea happen, and it dawns on you that a lot of work is involved. Oh, well, I didn't want to do a bunch of work. I just had this great idea, and I wanted to become rich and famous and have someone else do the work. What's wrong with you people?
I have become the expert.
Truth be told, I wrote a screenplay. I think it's mandatory to do that if you spend any amount of time in Hollywood. And after you write it, there's the dreaded job of asking your friends to read your screenplay to give you notes. God, that is the worst. Imposing on your friends, preferably with some writing experience or someone with some writing credits, and they're put in the worst position. They don't want to read your screenplay, and now you want notes on it? Oh, Jesus Christ. So they have to take an hour or two to read it. Then they have to think of something nice to say. They can't simply tell you it sucks, start all over. They have to say how good it is. Then find a couple of specific yet innocuous notes to give you and hopefully be done with it. Oh my God. I formally owe you an apology, Michael Hitchcock. I love you and I owe you an apology for asking you to read my screenplay. I only speak from a tiny bit of experience, but writing is really hard work. I wrote one screenplay and probably hundreds of mostly sketches with a handful of them seeing the light of day, and now I'm babbling about another topic I hardly know a damn thing about. Thank you. Okay, that's it for now. Thank you for liking, subscribing, reviewing, and especially for listening to The Modern Moron. See you next time.